Hey, everybody, Andre Hooks, Real Talk Realtor here. As you can see from my place, I'm doing some fix up and some remodeling, doing a couple things. But listen, I wanted to turn this fan off. I wanted to talk with you guys about something I thought was very interesting today. I had a good fortune of going and doing a walkthrough on apartment units, on some apartment units that a friend of mine is purchasing over in Riverside. And the current rent for a two-bedroom, two-bath apartment is $1,700 a month downstairs. And I said, oh, okay. I said, what do you need to qualify for that? And I was told that the potential applicants need to earn 3 times the rent. So I thought to myself, I said, okay, so that's $61,000 roughly a year to qualify to rent this apartment in a neighborhood that's not the best neighborhood. But okay, I get it, because they want to make sure they can pay the rent. So then the next question I asked was, other than the income requirement, what is the credit requirement? You know, most places, landlords or especially property management companies want to run credit and verify that, the person has halfway decent credit. I was told that the credit had to meet a minimum requirement. They had to have a minimum of a 660 credit score. That's right, 660 credit score. So I thought to myself, and I didn't say anything to my friend. I thought to myself, well, okay, that sounds a little high as far as, a credit score to have to rent someone's place, because you're not buying a place, you're renting it. But okay, I understood that. And then I asked them the question, what are the lease terms? What kind of lease terms do you have for the residents? Just out of curiosity. Well, we have some shorter term leases, which are more expensive because they charge you what's called an upcharge on those lease terms. But a 12-month lease is our standard lease. So I said, okay, so let me make sure I understand. You're going to lock someone in for 12 months at a rent that is $1,700 a month for a two-bedroom, two-bath apartment that barely breaks 800 square feet. That's what they're renting. Yes, they said. What happens when the lease comes up for renewal? Then I was told something that totally blew my mind. They send out a lease renewal about 2 to 3 months before the lease is up, giving the tenant the option to renew or to move if they don't like the new lease terms. And so I asked, I said, what are the typical lease terms? They said, oh, we renew everybody for 12 months, and we usually raise the rent 15%. I said, 15%? Well, man, that's like almost $300. He said, yeah, sometimes we do a little bit less, like 10, but about 15%. And I said, well, why do you raise the rent so much? And I listened to what they told me. Because the cost of maintaining a place increases over time. And I said to myself, okay. But I asked my friend, I said, listen, in 12 months, you think that the cost of you maintaining that apartment is increased by almost $300 a month? I mean, that's, what's 3 times 12? That's $3,600 a year. Yes, we think so. We think so. I said, how long have you guys been doing this? Well, we were looking at the company that's actually in charge of the apartments now. They've been doing this for 20 years. I said, oh, okay. So after I left, I'm sitting in the car and I'm thinking to myself, that's a lot of and to make it even crazier, they've only got 2 or 3 apartment units left. So people are actually qualifying and paying that rent for the apartment. And a lot of people have 2 incomes, and some people have 1 income, but the point is people are qualifying to pay that rent. So as I'm driving away, I'm in the car by myself, I'm thinking, wow, that sounds really crazy on the qualifying. It's exactly what our customers go through to qualify to buy a home. So let me explain. Most lenders want something, above 620 minimum score to get you into a home. If your credit score is a little higher, in the 660 range, if you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, you'd be considered a first-time home buyer, and you'd qualify for down payment assistance, right? Oh, and let me back up for a minute. And they require a deposit in first month's rent equal to the rent plus the first month's rent to get in the door. So now you have to come in with $3,400 to $4,000 to rent these places. So I was thinking that, hey, you know what? If you had to qualify to buy a home, it'd be the same thing. And if you had a 660 credit score, you might be able to get down payment assistance that will help you get in the door. But my point is that everyone likes to do a conversation on video, especially real estate agents, about rent versus buy, and they want to get into the complexities of if you have a payment and you write off the interest and all that stuff. And I'm saying, no, look, forget all the complex stuff. Let's just keep things simple, right? If you gotta qualify that hard to rent someone's place, now think about this. You gotta qualify like crazy to rent someone's place. You can qualify the same way and buy yourself a home or a townhome or condo, whatever you prefer. The market has changed. We're seeing more homes on the market longer than they've ever been on the market before. The market has shifted, people. If you're contemplating renting something and going through that, I can almost guarantee you that me and my people can get you into a home without a doubt in my mind. And if you're willing to do that to get into a rental, find if you can get into a home. I mean, look, it doesn't cost you anything to find out, but I just thought that comparison would help shed some light on what's going on in the marketplace. Landlords are collecting rents that are crazy right now. I mean, it makes sense for them, but as a person that, that's renting and you're trying to make things happen, you're trying to make ends meet, and you know what? I mean, think about this. That same place will probably be $2,000 to $2,100 a month in the next year or two, if you really think about it, if they raise rents the way they do. And that's just for a 2-bedroom, because the 3 bedrooms are already renting at $2,300 a month in the same community. $2,300 a month for a 3-bedroom apartment that is 1,007 square feet. Can you believe that? 1,000 square feet of apartment, and the rent is $2,300 a month. That is a mortgage payment in most cases. So I just bring this up because I wanted to let you know and let everybody know that, hey, listen, the market shifted, opportunities abound. There are more opportunities on the market to buy a home right now, and residents are making that move. If you can qualify to rent someone's place, and I'm not knocking rentals. Hey, listen, if you gotta get in where you fit in, right? Real talk. That's what we do. Real talk. You rent or you live where you live because it makes sense financially, and that's just the bottom line. That's the reality. However, what I'm advocating is if it makes sense to go through that, wouldn't you at least like to find out up front if you could buy? And if you can't, then hey, go rent if you want to rent. But if you could buy a home and you know deep down inside that you want to buy a home and you're willing to go through this stuff to find out, you can find out for free with a lender. Remember, if you go rent, they're going to charge you an app fee and a holding deposit in most cases. You got to spend some money to find out if you qualify for their program on the rental side. On the buying side, guess what? You don't got to spend any money up front to do anything. It's just a conversation, a little bit of time. The lender and everybody else does everything up front. Then you make the decision if you want to do it or not. So I just wanted to offer an alternative today and kind of talk about a different aspect of rent versus buy. It has nothing to do with all the transitions between, hey, you know what, if you write off interest and you do this and you do that and all the other stuff. No, all I'm saying is, look, if you're going to go through the stress of qualifying to rent someone's home or their apartment in this case, $1,700 for an 800 square foot apartment. Crazy. In Riverside. Riverside not a bad city, but in Riverside, in an area that's not the best area, then I think you owe it to yourself to find if you can buy something. Because remember, we all live somewhere, and most of us live where we live because it's the most affordable place at the time. So anyway, again, Andre, Real Talk Realtor. I'm over at Gateway, powered by eXp Realty. Let me know how I can be of service. You can text me or leave comments in the, down below, whatever it may be. Let me know what I can do for you, okay? I really appreciate your time. Talk to you soon.